Trademark searching activated.
Ooh, taxi.
We're going to continue on with Taxi. Kind of bring you up to date with where I'm at now. Since the last video, I did about 3 rounds of filling and sanding with mainly Bondo, a little bit of fiberglass Bondo. I found a couple other spots that I felt like needed the fiberglass Bondo to be strong enough on edges and stuff. I rebuilt the entire edge here and re-beveled it. Once I got that done, I shot Zinsser 123 primer over the whole thing, and I like to use that one instead of Kills because Kills is oil-based and it's harder to clean up. Zinsser 123 does a good job. It covers well, it's water cleanup, and it's pretty easily sandable as long as you give it at least 24 hours to dry and you don't go crazy with the sander. Like if you get really aggressive with the sander and heat up the Zinsser, especially within 48 hours or so, it'll start to kind of melt and congeal and turn into a mess, so don't do that. But as long as you're just kind of skimming over it and knocking it back to smooth it out, it does fine. And I've had good results with the Clark & Kensington paint that I use, which is right here, adhering to it. So this is the top coat I like to use. This is Clark & Kensington Premium Interior Semi-Gloss, and the important thing is you want to get the acrylic alkyd enamel. So this is a hybrid water-based paint, and the thing I like about it is it shoots well through the gun, it levels itself out very well, and it dries pretty hard, and it adheres very well. I've not had an issue with this paint peeling up or delaminating when I do stenciling yet. Now, I'm not going to stencil this cabinet because this is decals, but I could use whatever latex-based paint I wanted, but just because I have experience with this, I know how much to thin it, I know how to shoot it on, I know what to expect from it, I just stick with this. It's expensive. It's about $52 a gallon plus tax. And if you're doing just the outside of a cabinet and you're not going to do too many coats, you could probably get away with a quart. But because this is yellow and I'm concerned it's going to take a long time to cover, and I really do want this to be a very smooth finish because this is my own personal game. I want the decals to really look nice. I probably will be taking this to TPF this year. So I went ahead and bought the gallon. If you just use a quart, I think it's like $18 or $19 a quart, something like that. I got it color matched to the yellow that is on my decals that I've had made. And so what I'm going to do in this episode is we're going to paint this with base coat. I'm going to paint the inside first. I went ahead and decided to paint the particle board bottom on this because it was pretty dirty and water stained and whatever. So I just sanded it back. I primed it. I'm going to go ahead and paint it with the same color just to dress up the inside a little bit. And paint the inside of the cabinet first. And then I'll do the outside of the cabinet. And it's probably going to take 2 or 3 coats to get it where I want it to be. The head is over there. It's also been primed and painted and filled the same way. It's ready to go. This is going to be a 2-tone paint job. So I'm going to shoot the yellow first. And then I'm going to deviate a little bit from the original, and then I'm going to make this collar black. I actually saw High-End Pins do a Taxi, and he made the color black because it helps it just kind of fade away a little bit more when you're playing the game, and not be like this big yellow thing right there between the cabinet and the back box. And I like the way that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this black, and then the edges of the back box and the top inside of the back box are black as well. So I've got some spray paint to do that. I've got some Montana spray paint that's gloss black that I'll do with that. So I'm going to start painting. Once we get the paint done in this episode, we'll decal it, and then we'll start putting stuff back in the cabinet. So let's get going. And the yellow was a little bit hard to get to cover. This is about 5 coats of yellow, so it's been a while. It's been most of a week painting this cabinet, and the head is over there. Just got its final coat and is drying. So, kind of show you the finish that we get with this enamel. It's pretty good. This is a semi-gloss finish, but you do get a nice surface to work with. Now, if I was going to stencil this, I would let this dry for a good 3 or 4 days before I tried to stencil it. So this back came out actually pretty good. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see. So this back was really torn up. And I had to do a lot of work on it to get it flat and level. You can see all of the parts that were the corners were chipped out. That's all repaired. Look on the other side. Again, oops, sorry. Decent finish. I mean, it's not perfect, but I'm gonna decal this. So I'm not really all that concerned about it. There's a couple little spots where the sheen is slightly off and stuff, but otherwise I think it looks pretty good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sand this back. Well, oh, sorry. First of all, I'm gonna paint this collar black. And I'm gonna, the head, similar results. It's kind of sunny out here, so you probably can't see as well. But you can kind of see the finish. Back is okay, it's particle board, it's fine. So on this head, this front face here is black all the way around. So I'm gonna have to tape that off, and then the insides of this are black. So that's why I haven't painted that yet. All right, so just going to show you how I do decaling. I use the same process, basically, that I use for stenciling. The difference is, on this particular game especially, there's a stoplight here, and the green circle of the stoplight is where your start button goes. So you have to really be sure that that is in the right spot. So what I did is I turned the lights off, and I used my handy dandy light here to light it from the bottom and make sure that everything is lining up correctly and that the circle's right in the middle. And then I also did the same process with a ruler, and I just transilluminated from the bottom here and measured to this black line from the bottom to make sure we're square, okay? There's an inch of overhang on the art, and my buddy that does these does that on purpose so you have some wiggle room, but on this one, it's really important to get this square at the bottom because those is gonna look weird. And as I'm saying that, I'm just gonna double check this to make sure that we're good before I start laying this down. So, I'll take my ruler, and I just use millimeters for this so I can be real precise. All right, so then I've got my weights on there, as you can see. That's just gonna keep things from moving as I cut my flap. I've got a squeegee, but this squeegee has felt on it. And I use this when I'm doing decals just so I don't scratch the decals. So I've got my squeegee ready. So I'm gonna do the bottom first, just so I make sure that the part that needs to be square goes on square. And just gonna peel this back. Now these are nice, thick decals, and they're also air release, which is super nice because the decal itself is porous on a microscopic level, I guess. And it has a way that it will allow the air to escape. So it's nearly impossible to get bubbles in these decals. And if you do get a bubble, you just run over it and it disappears because it just goes right through the decal, which is super nice. Oh, that's on. And we're good on the, good, okay. I'm just gonna take a razor blade and get rid of the excess. All right. So what I've got is some 220 grit sandpaper loaded onto my block. And all you're gonna do is come in here at a 45-degree angle and start sanding. And you will sand through the decal. And come off. All right, I'm gonna let that set and I'm gonna let the collar dry overnight, and I'm gonna let this harden up just one more day before I put it, not because I'm concerned about decaling one side, but I gotta lay it down on the other side to decal. I don't wanna put a mark on the paint, so I should let it sit today, I think. I'll come back and do the sides tomorrow. And that came out nice and straight, so that's good. Beautiful. Just finished taping off and spraying the black on the head. Came out good. I didn't do the bottom on this because there was some kind of cool original markings on the bottom that I decided I wanted to keep. So I'm gonna leave it natural just like it was. So we'll let this dry for several hours and then we'll come back and be ready to decal the head. Here's the, I actually realized that my camera didn't record when I was decaling the sides of the cabinet here, but you can kind of see, get over here, see what we've done. I'll show you, go through some of the detail work that we did. So we took the original art, let me back this out. We took the original art and just kind of updated it. So a couple things. Basically, we took a lot of the whites and made them other colors. So like the bumper's now gray. We added this checkerboard on the taxi. You can see the front bumper's gray. We also changed the exhaust on the bottom to be a darker gray, and then the dust from the dog here is a little bit lighter gray. That was all white on the original. The dog's eyes, if you can see, are blue. We made the taxi driver flesh tone, even though you can't see it right now because it's in the shadow, kind of not great light, but he is flesh tone. Also changed his hat and his shirt to be red, give it a little bit of contrast. You can see some of the gray details we did on like the lock there and the door handle, that kind of stuff. Santa Claus, we redid. He's a darker flesh tone now. His bag is brown, and then we did some details up here as well. So that's kind of what we did to this. I really wanted it to remain pretty close to the original art. On this front, we didn't do a whole lot, just kind of cleaned it up. It's pretty much the same as stock. And then the head decals are stock as well. So this was just sort of a mild upgrade. An update, nothing too crazy. Certainly nothing to the level what we did on Pinbot if you saw that one, but I really wanted to sort of preserve the original art on this game. Let's get this head decaled. This is just the flash, the painted surface. First step, rough it up with some sandpaper. Next step, tack it off. Take a decal, lay it on there, and I'm going to take our light here. The first thing I try and do is just get it kind of centered, kind of close enough to get it in the general right spot before we start measuring things. Okay. I need to see how far up the head we are here. So now I've got this on and I use my light to transilluminate and make sure that we're square. I measured the distance between the bottom of the eye and top of the circle. That's 20 millimeters on each side. This is, I believe, 15 millimeters on each side from here to here. And then the eye is also spaced correctly. So I'm gonna check it one more time now that I have my can on, because last thing I wanna do is get this thing on and have it not be correct. So 15 millimeters. And here we have 15 millimeters. All right, we're good. Now what we're gonna do is just put on our hinge. Okay. Fresh razor blade. And guess what? This bottom side has a pretty big bevel on it, so I'm just gonna get it off of here first, so it's not quite so unwieldy, and then I'll figure it out. This front side, I should be able to get pretty close. First try. Through and the key here is a fresh razor blade. Razor blades are cheap. Don't skimp on the razor blade. Just make your life difficult. All right, next step is beveling. So we'll just like 45-degree angle. Now, when you're done with this step, after I get done, usually once I get the cabinet together, I'll go over this with a little black paint pen and cover up that little edge so you don't see it. And then on these, the yellow is going to be a little bit harder because I'm just going to have to paint that in by hand a little bit. That's done. And that's how I, at least, decal a cabinet. All right, here we go. Finished decaling. You can see I really like the finish on these decals. It looks really good. There's just a little bit of gloss to them. It's just enough without being, you know, over the top. So I really like that. So next step is to get everything ready for powder coat. So I got to take apart the coin door and hopefully get all the parts to powder coat tomorrow. What I've decided to do on this game is on the cabinet over there, gloss black coin door, gloss black side rails, and lockdown bar. And I might take a set of legs over there, a set of Old Williams legs to get them gloss black. But my original thought is to do chrome legs, because I just don't want it to be too black. Like, I've seen some that have been gloss black all the way around, and it looks okay, I think. And I might end up going with that. But part of me thinks it's too much black. So I'm going to try chrome legs first and see how that goes. And if I don't like it, then I can always throw the gloss black ones on. So, I think I'm going to end this episode here. So next episode, I'm going to be putting everything back in the cabinet in the head. And I'll wait till my stuff gets back from powder coat. And we'll put all this stuff together. Powder coat with my powder coater shouldn't take more than a couple of weeks. But if it's taking a long time, I'll probably, once I get the stuff in the cabinet, mainly, I'll probably go ahead and start on the play field. So I might be mixing and matching a little bit there. So that's it. We're decaled. Thanks for watching.